Question says, how do we explain to someone who says that were our elders wrong when there's a clear proof from the Quran and the Sunnah type? Question obviously is going to be pertaining to some type of bid'ah, a some type of batil practice or weak practice, cultural practice, etc. How do we explain to them? Well, first and foremost is we have to understand what Islam is and what Islam isn't. What Islam is and what Islam isn't. And one of the most important basic principles of Islam is that a forefather or an ancestor is never an absolute proof. It's never an absolute proof. Sometimes it can be a proof. Occasionally it can be a proof. But it's never ever absolutely a proof or an evidence. Ancestor. And we find this in the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentions وَوَصَّى بِهَا Ibrahim, that Ibrahim and Yaqub, they told their children and their grandchildren, they gave advice with the millah, the way of Abraham. Okay? And the question was asked in Surah Al-Baqarah, what will you worship after me? And they said, we worship the God, the ilah of what? Aba'ika Ibrahima wa Ismaila. We worship your God, the God of your forefathers. But the end of the ayah says what? Wahidan wa nahnu lahu. So that automatically excludes the sheer absolute proof of forefather. The only reason why I want to worship your God and the God of your forefathers is because He's one. And we are Muslims. So there's nothing wrong with in Islam following someone upon the truth. Yes, I'm a Muslim. It's the sunnah to honor your guest, and I take honor in it because my father did it. And it's a family heirloom. He did it, and his father did it. And our family, we're the guardians and the custodians of the Ramadan iftar in this masjid. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm following them upon the haqq, upon the truth. This is the dalil, qala Rasulullah, kada, 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 and I take pride, alhamdulillah, my family has been those who serve the Muslims in Ramadan. Tayyib. But the sheer fact that my father did it, and that's a proof. Our grandfathers, it's that simple. That's why they didn't accept him. Because you're saying our forefathers were stupid and foolish. And they worship idols, and they worship spirits, and they did this and they did that. And you know better than them, and you're a young man. And culturally, that's unacceptable. The elderly people, they teach the youth and guide the youth. How can it be the opposite? Let alone those who are alive, but some people for hundreds of years, thousands of years been doing this, and you're now saying that they're all wrong. That is the core of the deen. And if that is your rationale for what is and what isn't a sunnah, prayer, hajj, zakat, whatever the ibadah is, then you need to go back to the basic teachings of the Quran. And when it is said to them, follow what Allah has sent down, they say, bel, rather, نَتَّبِعُ مَا أَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ أَبَانَا. We follow what our forefathers, what we found them upon. Allah says even if the forefathers didn't know anything, didn't have any understanding, didn't have any guidance. So the sheer act that a forefather did it, without it being reasonable and logical, without it being textually proven, is not the way of what? Any scholar in Islam. And any imam who says, are you telling me that your forefathers were wrong and these imams are wrong? If that is his rationale, he doesn't deserve to be an imam. No, son. Who understood the dalil as you understood it? That's one thing. Are you saying that you have a better understanding than these ulama? That's one thing. And that's still an argument that can be made. That's still what? An argument that can be made. But the sheer fact that the forefathers and ancestors did it, that means what? That's not the way of a knowledgeable person. Alright? So anyone who's talking like that is not upon the true way of knowledge. Not Abu Hanifa, not Malik, not Shafi, not Ahmed. The only reason why Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, said that the people of Medina, we look at what they do and we take that as the proof, is because they were people who learned the Quran and Sunnah and studied the Quran and Sunnah. And they had an organic farming and harvesting of the what? Quran and Sunnah, organically. That's why. Not just because they're Ahlul Medina and that's it. So that's incorrect. However, you have to be mindful of what you say and how you say it. You have to be aware of someone's feelings and emotions. Offending someone's forefathers is not going to be taken lightly. And obviously the people, they're going to try to make it seem like you versus the ulama for 700 years in India. Avoid yourself. And this is one of the things that we learn from Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala. Not from Kitab al-Tawheed or Surah Thalatha or Masail al-Jahiliyyah, the books that are popular translated in English. But if you read Ad-Durr as-Siniyah, and you read the different letters that Ibn Abdul Wahhab wrote, and the other books that he wrote, and what his children and grandchildren and the disciples did, you have a great amount of respect for him. Much more, not saying that you won't have respect, but a whole nother level than the popular books that are in circulation. And Ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah ta'ala, one day, he was writing, I read this some years ago, he was writing to the different chieftains and the people that were against his dawah, or those who agreed with his dawah but they couldn't stomach it. And he said to them that those who say, are you more knowledgeable than this imam? He said that this can be done with the graves, and this can be said, and this can be slaughtered, and kava. He says, I'm not claiming to be more knowledgeable than them. Nor am I claiming to be on the same level of those scholars. He says, but I'm following the opinion of the scholars who are equal to them, if not greater. And they said it's haram and bid'ah and shirk. It's a whole different ballgame now. I'm not saying I know more than Abu Hanifa, but I'm saying I'm taking the view of Imam Ahmed, who either knew equal or more, for argument's sake. I don't understand this, so remove yourself from the situation. I'm not claiming that I know more than the scholars in India, but I'm quoting another scholar in India who was on their what? Now the playing field is what? Equal now. And now he has to figure out and sweat and move to another flight square. He didn't see that move. He didn't what? He didn't see that move. He was expecting this move to this square. You're young, you're ignorant, you're hasty, you're disrespectful, you can barely speak Arabic. What do you know? You know more than this Mola and this person? Oh, the hadith, the sunnah, it says it clear, the graves. You don't understand that book. You're a miskeen, you barely studied. This person has been studying Sahih Bukhari for 50 years before you were born. He circumcised you. And now you're telling him that you're wrong? You can't win that fight. But you can win the fight of quoting of what? Different story now. As the brother said, he said, well, I'm not tough. He said, don't holler at me. Don't beat me up. He said, I came to the conference to speak. He said, but those brothers over there, they're what? Those are the tough guys. You can go and talk with them. And any beef or argument that you have me coming here to speak, you what? You take it up with them. Because they're definitely what? Tough guys. But not me. Everyone understand the wisdom? And they were not what? They weren't expecting that. They were expecting him to puff out his chest. I'll come to speak, I can do it all. They were expecting to bully him. He said, what? That's their department. My department is knowledge. Those are the goons. And they don't have a great deal of discipline. All it takes is one what? Bismillah. I don't understand this. So this is all manifested in Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah. Call to the path of your Lord with what? With hikmah. Not even wisdom. Wisdom doesn't give the full meaning of hikmah. Adu ila Allahi ala basira. I call to Allah with basira. It's not just knowledge and insight. You have to be sharp. Like Ibrahim was what? Sharp. He said the what? The big idol did it. The big idol, he broke the small idols. Now you figure it out. He made them think. Obviously they were too stubborn to accept it, but he definitely won that game. Everyone understand it? So that's my advice that I would give you. And Allah knows best.